Coming up on the September 18th edition of Sports Extra, an improved defensive performance keys the Tar Heels' first win of the season. And a running game has finally emerged.
The men's and women's soccer teams send their opponents home kicking and screaming. Get that bicycle kick out of here.
And the field hockey team sticks it to a tough slate of weekend opponents.
All that and so much more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
It was a busy weekend for all things Carolina, and we're here to catch you up. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Peyton Walker.
And I'm Paul Beam. And lo and behold, the football team actually showed signs of life this weekend. You're not dreaming, folks. Carolina football did indeed win this Saturday versus the Old Dominion Monarchs. Let's take a look at the highlights from Norfolk. The game was dominated by the Tar Heels' rushing attack, led by the number one quarterback, yes, the actual number one quarterback, Chaz Surratt. Surratt rushed for his first score of the game in the opening quarter and then added the second score of the afternoon as he's forced out of the pocket and wait for it, squirts through two defenders and plows over another one as he crosses the goal line. On the defensive end, redshirt freshman Miles Wolfert recorded his first career interception in his first career game. Let's watch this again. Look at this full extension grab and the control as he hits the ground. Beautiful stuff. Then in the third quarter, Surratt, in the shotgun, fakes the handoff to Brown and tosses this 28-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Austin Prohl. The Road Warrior Heels capture their first win, 53-23. It was big plays aplenty for the Heels offense.
But perhaps the biggest play of the game came from the special teams. Our key play of the game in this incredible block kick by defensive lineman Tyler Powell, which was secured by MJ Stewart, scooping it up to finish the play. All right, guys, let's see that one more time. Powell extends his arms and blocks it like he's Kennedy Meeks in the national championship game. And then MJ finds his way to the 43-yard line. The Heels scored on the next possession, and that's a 10-point swing.
The rushing attack for UNC was outstanding against Old Dominion, led by our offensive player of the game, running back Jordan Brown. The second-year back gashed the Monarchs time and time again on Saturday, finishing with 125 yards. Brown found the end zone midway through the second quarter, thanks to some beautiful blocking by his linemen. Just 4 minutes later, he finds pay dirt again. This run gave Brown his first multi-touchdown game as a Tar Heel. Brown capped off his career day in style with this nasty cut, bouncing outside and scampering for a 23-yard gain. And your Sports Extra Defensive Player of the Game award goes to junior defensive end Malik Carney. Carney racked up 2.5 tackles for loss and kept the Monarch backfield under pressure all afternoon. Let's watch that replay again. Watch Carney weave his way through the offensive line and absolutely pummel the quarterback. Get some. Oh, and Carney also added a sack off this pretty spin move. Put him in a blender, boy. A big confidence boost for the Heels on Saturday, and here to tell us all about it is football analyst Michael Coe. Michael, what does this win mean for Carolina?
You know, Paul, as good as it feels to finally get in the win column, we have to start out with some major injury news. Now, going into the season, Thomas Jackson was a key offensive player, and he showed it through the first two games by catching 2 touchdown passes. But Jackson could miss significant time for the Heels or the entire season if this injury is as serious as it looked. Watch as Jackson plants his right foot, his right knee buckles, and he immediately goes to the ground in pain. Without Jackson, the Heels have very little experience in the receiving corps and would have to rely on new faces like Jordan Cunningham and Anthony Ratliff-Williams. Now, let's focus on Carolina's next opponent. You know them well. They're in that school 8 miles down the road. For the Heels to defeat those dastardly Devils, they have to take away Duke's strength, and that is the rushing attack. Number 29, Sean Wilson, and number 22, Britton Brown, form a fearsome backfield tandem. Through 3 games, the pair have combined for 6 touchdowns and 528 yards on the ground, including 176 from Wilson against Baylor. And watch as Britton Brown goes beast mode on this rumble through Bears defenders. He is tough to bring down on first contact. Now the Devils can also get it down on the defensive side as well. Duke has given up only 41 points on the year, or 6 less than the Heels allowed in 1 game against Louisville. And the Devils turn you over as well, picking off Baylor quarterback Zach Smith 3 times on Saturday. Watch as number 14 jumps on the out route here and takes it all the way for a pick six. Duke has at least one interception in all 3 of its games this year, and the FPI has the Devils ranked as the most efficient defense in the nation. Chad Surratt has to be on top of his game if he wants to navigate this ball hawking unit.
It will certainly be a big game on Saturday as the Heels try to avenge their loss to the Devils last year and win back the victory bell. Michael, you have a prediction?
You know, Paul, Duke fans are feeling good about their 3-0 start, but it should be noted that NC Central, Northwestern, and Baylor aren't exactly a strong schedule. The Heels have played a stronger schedule to start, especially the first 2 games, and I think they take the confidence from this past weekend into the Duke game, and I think that the Heels will win back the victory bell in Keenan and get back to a 500 record.
I know Heels fans would love to see that. That's football analyst Michael Coe in studio. Thanks, Michael.
Sticking with football, everyone remembers Nick Weiler's game-winning field goal last year against FSU, but now there's another Carolina special teamer who stands out. Blake Morgan has that story.
UNC's punter Tom Sheldon isn't your traditional football player. At 28, he's the oldest football player in the entire ACC. On top of that, he started playing American football only a little more than a year ago. He grew up in Victoria, Australia playing.
Australian rules football, or footy as we call it over there, yeah.
But it didn't take long for Sheldon to look into American football.
I saw a few Aussie guys doing well over here. I thought, why not give it a try?
He attended a camp called Pro Kick in Melbourne, Australia, which has produced 63 NCAA punters in the last 7 years. So after 4 months, he found himself headed to North Carolina. Last year, Sheldon and UNC's special teams led the nation in punt defense, allowing only 2 total return yards. Last week, Sheldon was named the Ray Guy Punter of the Week for his game against Louisville, in which he averaged 53 yards, with his longest being a 66-yard bomb. With numbers like that, Sheldon could be punting in the NFL, but that isn't his goal.
You know, if I punt well enough and an NFL opportunity arises, that'd be fantastic. But just the experience of, playing a sport I've never played before in front of, big crowds.
And if it doesn't work out, he'll be fine with that too.
Whatever happens, after UNC's sort of, bonus, and hopefully I'll just do well here and see what happens.
One thing is certain, he won't be kicking field goals anytime soon.
I honestly couldn't kick a field goal from 10 yards out. I don't know why, but I just can't.
And as long as he keeps punting bombs, Fedora won't ask him to. Reporting from Chapel Hill, I'm Blake Morgan.
Sheldon averaged 43 yards on 7 punts against Old Dominion Saturday and continues to be in contention for the Ray Guy Award.
From football to football, the men's soccer team squared off with those dastardly Devils, and let me tell you, it was an instant classic. Sophomore Cam Lindley connected with senior Allen Wynn off the corner kick for Carolina's first goal, but minutes later, Duke returned the favor, leaving the rivals tied 1-1. Again in the first half with an almost identical play, Lindley plays the ball from the corner and sophomore Mauricio Pineda puts it home with a beautiful finish, putting the Heels up 2-1. With only 4 seconds remaining, Duke tries to equalize, but it goes just wide. Heels clinch to win 2-1. After that dramatic win, the men's soccer team can't rest on its laurels as George Washington comes to town on Tuesday. While the Colonials' record sits below 500, George Washington has a rare gem of a player most teams can only dream of having. Freshman forward Oscar Haynes Brown is the very definition of a super sub for the Colonials. He's played in only 3 of George Washington's 6 games, but has scored in all 3 of his appearances. Players like Brown are hard to come by, but when a team has one, that team can create instant energy and scoring chances off the bench. If Carolina gets ahead early or the game is close down the stretch, don't be surprised to see Brown come out on the pitch trying to produce some late-game heroics.
The 10th-ranked women's soccer team traveled down to Tallahassee to take on Florida State Sunday, a team that has had the Heels number. It was a battle of the goalkeepers for most of this match. UNC's Samantha Leshnak was active all game, earning her 3rd clean sheet of the season. She finished with 4 saves, including this incredible effort in the first half. FSU's Cassie Miller finished with 6 saves of her own, casually stopping Bridget Andrzejewski on this breakaway. The Tar Heels finally broke through in the 58th minute. Joanna Bowles' cross was headed down by Abby Alinsky, and Dorian Bailey followed up with a perfectly placed header. That would be enough for a 1-0 Heels win. UNC now sits at 5-2 on the season and 1-0 in the ACC. Contributing to women's soccer continued success this season is a loaded class of fresh faces. Keaton Eberly spoke to some of the team's newest members.
Being a first year on one of the top soccer programs in the country and living up to a phenomenal legacy can be quite the daunting task. But these first years are thoroughly embracing the Carolina experience.
Playing for North Carolina is just incredible. The atmosphere, the energy, the pressure, it all just defines you as a person.
I mean, of course there's pressure going into every game. Teams come out extra hard when they come up against us, but we use that pressure and we thrive on it.
First years on the team, including forwards Sydney Spruill, Alicia Russo, and Taylor Otto, have adapted to the quicker collegiate pace. But with that being said, the change hasn't always been easy.
I think obviously coming in as a freshman, the level of play is something that we're not used to, but I think after a little while you start to get used to it.
Redshirt senior leader Joanna Boyles likes what she has seen from the freshman class.
I definitely think the jump that it takes from the college level or the club level to the college level is huge. Every freshman has really contributed and done an excellent job in helping us to our goals.
One particular goal for this team is the same goal the Heels have every single year: win the national title.
We always joke it's like the University of National Champs because that's what we are.
And that's exactly what these young players would like to do this year. In Chapel Hill, I'm Keaton Eberly reporting.
The Heels will continue their hunt for another championship Thursday in Cary against Clemson.
When Sports Extra returns,
a Carolina team is working its way toward redemption. Sound familiar?
Here's to the things that can keep us safe.
Guys, you are all doing...
And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday. And I love tacos.
We have a big problem, and we need your help.
It's happening on college campuses, at bars, at parties, even in high schools.
It's happening to our sisters and our daughters,
our wives and our friends.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent, it's rape, it's assault.
It's a crime. It's wrong.
If I saw it happening, I was taught you have to do something about it.
If I saw it happening, I speak up.
If I saw it happening, I'd never blame her. I'd help her.
Because I don't want to be a part of the problem.
I want to be a part of the solution.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
Entering the match with a 2-game winning streak, the number 24 UNC volleyball team faced off against Loyola Marymount in Carmichael Arena on Friday night. Reigning ACC Player of the Year Taylor Leaf and the Tar Heels dealt with a very scrappy LMU squad as the Lions were off to a fast start, taking the first set quite easily 25-17. After receiving an earful from head coach Joe Segula during a timeout, the Tar Heels finally found their spark. Beth Nordhorn had a strong showing, finishing with 12 kills in this one. Even with Leaf's 13 kills and having a 2-1 set advantage, UNC collapsed at the end. LMU comes away victorious in 5 sets. The team's next game was against Coastal Carolina the following night, and the Heels started off the night strong, winning the first set 25-22. After Coastal took the second set, Carolina responded with this huge kill by Taylor Leaf to win the third set 25-18. But the Chanticleers made it interesting with this skill to force a fifth set. The Tar Heels dominated the final set and put the match away with this block to win the final set 15-8. Heels are now 3-5.
The field hockey team began a tough weekend on Saturday when the Heels took on the 10th-ranked Boston College Eagles. The Heels struck early on a goal by Ava Smolnars to take the lead 1-0. Then the defense took over, limiting BC to 6 shot attempts for the game. It looked like sure victory for the Tar Heels until Boston College scored late in the second half to tie the score. That forced a golden goal overtime, with the first team to score securing the win. Halfway through OT, UNC's Ashley Hoffman rifled a shot into the bottom left corner of the goal to give the Heels the lead and the win, with a final score of 2-1. UNC defeated James Madison 3-0 on Sunday, the Heels' second top 15 opponent of the weekend. The Tar Heels came out hot, the second of 2 early goals coming off a beautiful assist from Catherine Hayden. Following that goal, there was a break in momentum before Ava Vendehoop put the Heels up 3-0 right before halftime. Carolina continued to dominate possession, but both teams failed to find the back of the cage in the second half. The Heels win the game 3-0 and to finish an impressive weekend sweep.
It was a big weekend for Carolina tennis, and here to tell you all about it is tennis analyst Bailey Ingles live from the Smith Center. Now, Bailey, you might be a little bit confused. The Smith Center is where the men's basketball team plays.
Peyton, the tennis players actually lift over here at the Dean Dome, and in just a minute we'll have Coach Sam Paul here to talk with us. But first we'll catch you up on the action from this weekend. There were 2 standout players, Josh Peck on the men's side and McKenna Jones on the women's side. We'll start with Peck. Championship day at the James Bonk Invitational in Cary started with Peck facing off against NC State's Georgi Milashev. It was smooth sailing to start for Peck as he closed out a 6-2 first set win with this ace. And then trailing 1-3 in the second set, Peck didn't lose his focus and rattled off 3 straight games to seize a 4-3 lead. Peck finished strong with you guessed it, an ace, and he takes the championship in Cary. Meanwhile, on the women's side, sophomore McKenna Jones faced off against Duke's Kelly Chen in the Duke Invitational on Sunday, also in Cary. Jones started out hot, winning the first set 6-2, but lost her momentum in the second set, dropping a close tiebreaker. In the final set, Jones gained her momentum back and took a 5-2 lead. At match point, Chen's shot was just out of bounds. The point gave Jones the win and the Duke Invitational title. At the 2017 Hall of Fame ITA Grass Invitational in Newport, Rhode Island, 2 of Carolina's top players, Jessie Aney and Sarah Davitilla, both made headlines for different reasons. Aney was impressive, defeating 12th-ranked Josie Kuhlman of Florida as part of a 2-1 weekend. Davitilla, however, lost her first 2 matches and withdrew before her third with an undisclosed injury. All right, we have Coach Sam Paul here for the men's tennis team. Coach, first, congratulations on the ITA National Champion Coach of the Year.
Thank you. It was what a great group of guys that worked hard last year, and again, I'm just really proud of them, proud of our team.
All right, now we just brought you up from the weight room. How's the vibe down there with the team?
Well, we're really excited to be lifting here at the Smith Center. This is one of our most important things for conditioning and strength training. So to be here lifting at the Smith Center with their staff, we're pretty excited about it. And it's really important for our program.
Sophomore Josh Peck had a great start to the season at the Invitational this weekend. Who else do you think should be on our radar as the season starts?
We have a lot of returning players. Obviously, William Blumberg, NCAA finalist last year, NCAA most valuable player in the team tournament. Robert Kelly, a senior, 2-time All-American for us. He's done a great job. Simon Sondergaard, who's going to be a sophomore. We have a lot of returning players. We really don't have one freshman on our team right now. A lot of returning guys. Happy for Josh. He worked his tail off this summer, and he's playing obviously great tennis.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you, Peyton.
That was tennis analyst Bailey Ingles from the Smith Center. Thanks, Bailey.
When Sports Extra returns,
one UNC student athlete has her eyes on making the cut and launching her pro career.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms, biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us. Go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Welcome to Understood.org, a free online resource for parents of kids with learning and attention issues, with personalized recommendations, tools, and daily access to experts to help your child thrive. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
The men's golf team went up against some top talent this weekend as the Heels traveled to Chicago for the Fighting Illini Invitational. After Saturday, the Heels were 22 shots behind. Then junior Prayer Fountain shot a career best 1 under par, and the Heels improved to finish tied for 9th. Fountain was one of 3 Tar Heels to finish in the top 30, along with seniors William Register and Ben Griffin. The Heels will take a short trip to Raleigh on October 2nd for the Wolfpack Fall Invitational.
The women's golf team competed in the Mason Rudolph Championships this weekend, and no pun intended, it was rough. Arkansas annihilated the field with a team score of 41 under par. Alabama, Arizona State, and Vanderbilt rounded out the top 4. UNC shot 9 over and finished 11th. Individually, UNC freshman Ava Bergner led the Heels with 4 under par for the tournament. She finished tied for 18th. Many college golfers hope to go pro at some point. Kaylee Padrone tells us that for UNC's Brianna Wynn, that time could come soon.
While the LPGA had been a dream for Wynn since childhood, she still found making the move to be a hard decision when the time came.
I've worked so hard all the way up until now, and it might be a waste to just not go. And I love playing golf, so I thought it would be a good time, and the timing just worked out perfectly, so I decided to go.
She has gotten a lot of support at Carolina.
My coaches and my team, they push me, and we always push each other during practices and tournaments. For Q school, especially since it's in the summer, we didn't see each other that much, but I still had the support of my team. Like, they texted me, called me before Q school and everything, so I could really feel their support even though they weren't with me there.
While making it to the LPGA is a challenge, Coach Jan Mann thinks Wynn's skills are up to par.
Anytime you're trying to be a professional athlete, the chances, if you look at the numbers, the success rate is very small. But she probably is one of my favorite all-time student athletes that I've ever coached. And I think she would do an excellent job.
And Wynn definitely has the mindset to get there.
Finish what I started is like a mantra I live by. And so I want to accomplish the dream of playing professionally.
As for now, Brianna is working toward other team and personal goals.
And ACCs is a really big goal of mine, and making it to nationals again, but this time I would love to make it to match play, which would be really fun.
And so would making it as a pro. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kaylee Padrone reporting.
Wynn finds out in October if she makes it to the next LGPA qualifying round.
When Sports Extra returns,
we show you how one club team is squashing the competition.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
As a parent, I think it's tragic that 1 in 5 children struggles with hunger right here in America. But there is hope. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
UNC basketball players are getting used to being the center of attention at football games, and not just here in Chapel Hill. UNC basketball stars Joel Berry and Luke May had the honor of beating the Carolina Panthers' Keep Pounding drum before kickoff Sunday. Berry and May were joined by South Carolina women's basketball players Aja Wilson and Tyasha Harris on the sidelines to celebrate both Carolina's accomplishments in the NCAA basketball tournaments last year. Carolina fans hope Berry and May can return to Bank of America Stadium next season with a second ring on their fingers.
Cub sports athletes are some of the hardest working students on campus,
including those on the newly minted squash team. Our Colleen Brown spent some time with this unique squad.
Squash. It's more hardcore than you think. Men's co-captain Christopher Gazelle.
So squash is kind of a mix between racquetball and tennis. You play inside with a ball and a racket, and you play 3 out of 5 games to 11.
These athletes play with a lot of firepower, part of the reason women's co-captain Morgan Alderman was so drawn to the sport.
Honestly, the best part about squash is probably that you can hit the ball as hard as you want, get out all of your anger, and it's not going to go out of the court.
Squash is a game of both power and finesse, and the sport is a lot more accessible now that it's become an official club team.
Yeah, so club status gives us better funding, so we have a lot more communication and outreach with players, potential players.
Better. The important thing is we want to make a really good impression during our first year here as a university club sport and see if we get more participation and more support.
Coach Kagan's policy? Welcome all skill levels and offer drills like this one to help players improve.
Like I said before, it's recognition that we're a club sport, we're working to develop and to get better. Because there's nothing like having the support of the university behind you.
Now it's time for these Tar Heels to go out and squash the competition. In Chapel Hill, I'm Colleen Brown reporting.
Wow, that looks pretty interesting. I've never played squash. Have you, Paul?
No, but I am an avid racquetball fan. If you're interested, a UNC Marching Tar Heel trombone section plays every Tuesday night. Fetzer, be there or be square.
Wow, definitely be there. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Good night.